Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Ora News English edition at 6 p.m. The intense rainfalls over the past few hours have flooded several areas of Tirana. The situation in the Barbru area is the most critical. Several houses have been flooded by the overflowing Tirana River, and the families in the most affected areas have been obliged to leave their homes and carry with them whatever they can of their furniture and personal belongings. According to the authorities, 25 families have been evacuated. As you can see from the footage, the situation is fairly serious, and the residents have asked for the immediate intervention of the government to solve the repeated problem of flooding that happens every year. The Interior Minister and the head of the emergency staff have been personally inspecting the situation. Emergency relief units have also been sent to the area to assist the troubled residents. The extremely rainy weather has caused problems in multiple areas of the country. Around the Leja area, hundreds of hectares of agricultural land are now flooded. The residents say that the water has destroyed everything and complain that this situation is repeated every year during the heavy rainfalls. The situation is being monitored closely by the heads of civil emergency staff, the city mayor, and the government representatives. There is also heavy flooding within the city itself. Many of the roads are full of water, as well as the first floors of a number of businesses. The pumping stations are working at full capacity, but there is simply too much water to process. The residents have also been active in trying to clear the water, but many of the drainage channels have been blocked by debris or simply by too much water. Similar problems have also been reported in Shkodër, Durrës, and Elbasan, and 30 families in Durrës have been evacuated from their homes. In Elbasan, landslides and a shortage of drinking water have been reported. In Mat, 20 students were trapped for several hours when a bridge that connected the village to the school collapsed. The institutions are working hard to manage the situation caused by the intense rainfall. The military and the emergency staff have evacuated the families that are in the most danger of flooding, but unfortunately it seems that the worst is yet to come. The Ministry of Interior has announced that the situation will get worse in the coming hours and called the citizens to avoid any unnecessary travel. The ministry says that the civil emergency staff is in readiness to evacuate the families most affected by the floods. The energy distribution operator has also announced that they are closely following the situation in order to ensure that the people are supplied with energy quickly in the event of any outages that may be caused by the weather. Even though the Lana River in Tirana has recorded its highest levels in the recent years, the municipality does not believe it will overflow. The institutions have announced that Leja is the most critical area. The Minister of Agriculture, Edmond Panariti, has addressed the situation, admitting that it is difficult and giving assurance that the pumping stations are functioning properly. The Minister of Transport, Edmond Hajanasto, has inspected the Mulet area firsthand and called drivers to be careful and respect the traffic rules in order to avoid road accidents. The Ministry of Defense has committed 100 units to the field to help evacuate residents, repair damaged riverbanks, and clear the drainage channels. The Democratic Party has accused Prime Minister Rama of spending millions of lek traveling abroad while the country is facing serious problems, like today's floods. The Democratic MP Arben Ristani declared that the people are living in misery while the Prime Minister is living like a sheik. He made the following statements today. While the country is flooded, Edi Rama is relaxing on the luxurious beaches of Miami. After finishing a year of failure in which unemployment increased, the economic crisis deepened, poverty increased, order and security deteriorated, Edi Rama does not care. He is off chasing his passions for which the citizens are paying. Mr. Ristani continued. After exhibiting his paintings from one continent to the other, Edi Rama has now started to frequent basketball games in the most expensive league in the world, the NBA in the USA. The Albanians have learned that the Prime Minister was watching a basketball game in the first row, where the tickets cost millions of lek. This is the condition of Edi Rama. While the people live in misery, the Prime Minister is living like a sheik, said Arben Ristani. The heavy rains are bringing some positive effects, improving the flow of the River Drin and increasing the energy reserves. The Albanian Power Corporation has announced that the rain will reduce the necessity of electricity imports by 75%. Thanks to the increased flow of the rivers, the corporation is now able to produce its own energy to meet the needs of the consumers. Furthermore, the corporation has announced that unless the system needs more energy, the Fierza hydropower plant will be stopped in order to collect water reserves. Now, in addition to managing their own risks, the corporation is managing the hydrological risks posed by smaller private hydropower plants, which have quadrupled their production of electricity within a time frame of 24 hours. According to the official data, the water levels in Fierza has reached 277.89 meters, increasing by 1.4 meters since the previous day. Inflows are now around 1,800 cubic meters per second. In Coman, the level is 173.35 meters, and the level in Vau Ideas is 75.02 meters. The Energy Corporation says that it is monitoring the situation, managing the river flow to reduce the risk of floods. Two days after the experts began to work on implementing the Venice Commission opinions for the justice reform, the process has been blocked. As they warned, the Democratic experts did not attend the meeting. They rejected the proposals of the ad hoc commission, which has suggested that the appointments to the constitutional institutions be adopted with 84 votes in Parliament. The current majority has this many votes, and the Democrats feel that this will lead to political control of the institutions that are supposed to be independent. Democratic sources have said that the opposition will not be party to the regulations being made for the draft, and they will not rejoin the meetings until consensus is found on this crucial issue. The opposition proposes that the Prosecutor General, the High Justice Council members, and the Constitutional Court members must be elected with 93 votes, or that the opposition be given the right to veto 2 candidates, just like the model for the Central Election Commission. Today's meeting was canceled because of their absence. It has been learned that experts have proposed the idea of sending 2 different drafts back to the Venice Commission, but this did not gain any support from the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, the head of the SMI group, Petrit Vassili, exhorted the parties to reach political consensus in order to finish the reform on time. The Democrats have expressed their attitude through their experts, and the SMI has issued a call to consensus. The Socialist Party is the only political force that has not expressed any attitude so far. They do not have any official representatives in the Committee for the Reform. The President of Albania, Bujar Nishani, has decreed the new law on amnesty, which will reportedly benefit 720 individuals. Amnesty will be granted to a number of people that are sentenced to 2 years in prison or less, who are already on parole, or who have been sentenced to alternative punishments. Some prisoners will benefit who have only 2 years left to serve on a longer sentence. Additionally, amnesty will be given to women over 50 years old, men over 60 years old, and people who were 18 or under when they committed their crime. Other convicted individuals who will not benefit from the amnesty law will receive a shortening of their sentence. Women will get a 1.5-year reduction, and men 1 year. The law on amnesty was adopted in Parliament on December 21st of this past year. President Nishani has appointed 7 new ambassadors and dismissed 4 who have concluded their mandates. The president signed the dismissal today of Neritan Tseka as the ambassador to Italy, bringing an end to a conflict with the foreign ministry. The Minister of Foreign Affairs had previously asked the president to dismiss Tseka, as according to him, Tseka had violated the law and the code of ethics during his duty as a diplomat by participating in electoral campaigns. So far, the government has not proposed a candidate for replacing Tseka as Albania's representative in the neighboring country of Italy. The president appointed new ambassadors to Turkey, Kuwait, China, the United Arab Emirates, Canada, Hungary, and the Republic of Slovakia. He is expected to make a decision soon on who will be the new ambassador of Albania to the OSCE. Thanks again for choosing Aura News for updates in English. Have a great night and see you tomorrow.